On this episode of Nerds Talking the Podcast, we have an Australian on the show. That's right, all the way from down under. And we also talk about Heart of Stone, the new movie featuring Gal Gadot on Netflix. And top 5 Australians, actors, singers, comedians, and anyone else. And we end the show with the nerds doing accents. What can go wrong? All that and more on this episode of Nerds Talking the Podcast. Now start the show.
Nerds Talking the Podcast.
Yo, we talk about lightsabers, stunning your TV screens, what you want to stream, everything beyond your dreams. Want to talk about movies, sports, or even politics? Go ahead and tune into us. We'll give you all of it. Whatever you're debating, Xbox or PlayStation, Marvel or DC, Mac or PC. Teraflops when the movie drops, gigabytes, chips, RAM, no matter what it is, we got all of it. Welcome to the show.
Nerds Talking the Podcast.
Welcome to Nerds Talking the Podcast. Another day, I guess, because now it's 2 times a week. Another episode. I'm here with Carlos, Johnny, Laura, and I'm Lafayette, and we have ourselves a special guest all the way from down under, from Australia, from the show Is it Podculture Oz? Podculture Oz. There you go. Podculture Oz. With your hosts, it's Phillipa.
Yeah.
Perfect. And Nick and Dave. All right. Fantastic.
Yeah, Nick and Dave aren't here. Dave's not here.
And Nick. Johnny, you'll be Dave. Carlos, you'll be Nick. We'll go from there. Yep. So it's just me and Laura, and with Podculture Oz. So we're gonna reverse it.
So whoever's playing Nick just has to talk about the emergent themes of the episode, because he's a former academic and that's what he does.
Oh, that's me then. That's absolutely me.
They're both.
He writes notes as we talk, so he'd set some up at the end of the episode. So I'm glad someone does that.
No, that's not them. No.
Carlos, you're the academic between me and you.
Hey, you have a paid for
both
degree.
anyway.
You let's mailed it in.
Motherfucker,
You mailed your
it counts.
check. They mailed you a degree. That's what happened.
But the check cleared is what I'm saying. Anyways, you can be.
You
be a
win.
smart one. You can. That's
So-
academics, bitch.
Anyway, thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here. Carlos and I met online in a podcast forum, I don't know, about 2 years ago, and we've been talking about this for a while, so it's really exciting to be here.
There we go.
That's cool. Long time
Right?
in the making.
Absolutely.
What time and what day is it in Australia?
It's Thursday afternoon, 12 p.m.
You're in
in
the
your
future.
future.
Yeah, but in November though, so figure that shit out.
Is it better to be in the future or the past?
Better to be in the future.
I don't know, because now we can mess up your future. I mean, because we're in the past.
No, I think I'm messing up your future. I'm not in the
This is
future.
true. Yeah,
This is true. Well,
Not
I
the
don't
first time a woman's told me that.
Well, yeah.
good one. Good job, Nick. All right.
Phillipa, real quick, I want to know about the critters in Australia. I always read about them, hear about them. Like, is there a tarantula in every corner, or is there pythons coming out of the toilet?
Yeah, so we do have a very long list of deadly spiders and snakes, and as long as you're smart and avoid them and don't antagonize them if you see them, you'll be okay. Having said that, I did go into anaphylaxis from a spider bite that was inside my clothing when it was on a clothesline. So, you just have to be careful. The drop bears, on the other hand, absolutely real. Avoid at all costs. Be careful when you're bushwalking.
What area in Australia are you in?
I'm in Sydney.
Sydney. Okay.
Yeah,
you're
so
the, like
East
the
Coast,
two
most populous
parts that
area.
anyone knows: Sydney and Perth. That's all anyone knows.
Well,
So-
Perth is West Coast, Sydney's East
Yeah.
Coast. And the
Yeah.
Melbourne people will be so upset you say that, because Melbourne's like our second biggest Sydney.
I was going to say
city.
Melbourne.
It's also on the East Coast.
Yeah, Melbourne.
And people in Melbourne are like, oh, there's this huge rivalry between Sydney and Melbourne, but we've got better cafes and better nightlife and better theatres. And like people listening are like, yeah, Melbourne's nice, whatever. We don't have a rivalry. We don't care. We nothing them.
You don't have a giant opera house that appears in every movie ever.
They don't have
So-
a harbour.
There you go.
They're about the only capital city in Australia that doesn't have a harbour.
Huh.
Brisbane's got a river.
Oh, Brisbane.
Which is
Oh,
quite
Brisbane,
nice
yeah.
now.
That's a
But,
city I've also heard of.
Melbourne has a bit of an inferiority complex, so they do have nice cafes and they do have art galleries and they do have a good theatre life, but they're the ones that are so building up this intercity rivalry, and Sydney people are like, we don't care. We live in Sydney.
I
Why
like
do
how
we
the
care?
one side just doesn't care and the other side's like, "You're better than you."
Because they know they're better.
Absolutely.
That's
One
why.
is clearly the superior. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I like how Sydney's like, "Yeah, we accept it. We don't care. Thanks. It's cool."
Well, as I said, we kind of nothing it. I've got friends who live in Melbourne, and I go down there and I visit them and I have a good time. But I'm really happy to come home.
Yes, do you bring a bag of spiders and throw it on them and then run away?
I don't touch spiders. I'm a bit of
Damn
an
it.
arachnophobe. Even before I got bitten by one. But I respect the wildlife and avoid it.
I don't respect spiders.
No,
Just no, right, Johnny?
Red,
they can all go.
Worse. They can't all
The
go.
worst
Seriously.
thing is, so we have these big, like huge hand-sized spiders called huntsmen, and they're like a non-venomous tarantula or something, and they're freaky. Like they are just horrifying. And I used to live in a share house when I was at uni, and all of us would just go like hysterics when we saw a huntsman because we were all pretty arachnophobic. And we had a friend who lived a street over. One of my flatmates would call this guy and say, "Can you just remove the spider?" I'm like thinking, kill it. And he'd just like, was a real hippie, and he'd let it loose in our garden again. I'm like, don't do that. It's just going to come straight into the house. So we're like, dude, if you want to release the spiders, release it in your own garden. And she's like, okay, I'll do that.
I can tell you this. You're not selling Australia to me so far.
Yeah, we don't want you tourists.
Not
here.
going.
It's okay.
Yeah, not coming. I mean, spiders as big as my hands. I mean, oh, good heavens.
But they're non-venomous. That's the thing about funnel, not funnel webs. Oh, don't avoid funnel webs. No, huntsmen.
Funnel
are
whips.
non-venomous.
These are names I don't want to go with. There's a huntsman. There's
No.
a funnel whip. There's
I
a
went to the
hoopla.
county fair and I had a funnel whip.
Did you have a
Still
funnel
good.
whip? A dole funnel whip? Was it a dole? That's
Yeah,
crazy.
funnel web.
I-
You don't want to get bitten by a
What
funnel
is
web.
a
They're
funnel
very
whip? Is that
bad.
a spider also?
Funnel web?
Funnel whip.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
Oh,
one of
good
it's one of the top 10 most deadly spiders.
Oh, we don't
As
know
is a
that here.
redback.
We have like little kid like spiders the size of like nickels or well, like, I guess
Nickel, please. Come on, they're way bigger than
nickel,
nickels.
please. Good
So,
one.
yeah, you have a spider that has a red marking on the back. I think it's a
Yes,
Black
the
Widow.
black
or something?
widow. Yes.
The brown recluse.
Oh, the
yeah.
brown
So we have a version of
recluse.
that called redback. That's very, very deadly.
we had brown recluses in our house, and right when I had a baby, and I was like, nope. And we had to call an exterminator.
I guess
and it
the thing
moderately
about
helped.
Australia is it's like the biggest island and the smallest continent. So it was isolated for so long that everything grew up in isolation, evolved in isolation. And that's how you get things like a platypus. Which it has
That's
poisonous spurs and it lays eggs and it's a mammal. And it's crazy. People didn't believe it existed when Europeans went back and went, we found this thing. It's like duck-billed and it has spurs and it lays eggs and it feeds its young milk. And everyone went, no, that's not a thing. And
No, that's not a thing.
the botanists and stuff took photos, like drawings back of platypuses, and they're like, people in Europe went, that doesn't exist. Like,
That's
it really
the-
does.
That's a plot line to Up, right? Like that's why the dude went crazy. He's like, I gotta prove it exists. He's looking for that platypus.
Honestly, if you read Terry Pratchett's book, The Last Continent, which is and there's a lot of very Australian stuff in it, and one of them is how the wizards are trying to draw a duck by committee and they end up with a platypus. It's very funny.
I read Bill Bryson's book In a Sunburnt Country. That's really good. It's a travel book about Australia, and he talks about how he opens it with Australia is such a dangerous place that their prime minister in the 70s or 80s just like straight disappeared.
Oh, in the
Like,
60s, yeah, Harold Holt.
yeah.
He was a known surfer, and he went surfing on a day when there was a very big surf after a storm, and he vanished.
He's
He was
gone.
warned by people. The beach
Swallowed
was
by the sea.
closed, so we have lifeguards on our surf beaches, and the beach was closed, and people said to him, "Don't go in," and he did. He goes, "Oh no, I'll be fine," typical dickhead alpha male, and he drowned.
You hear that, Johnny? That's right. You heard
Really,
that, Claire.
Johnny is
But
the
Johnny,
dickhead
you
alpha
wouldn't
male
surf
of
in
this
after a
group.
storm when the beach was closed, would you? You're not that dumb.
I'm pretty dumb sometimes.
Yeah. Go
Are
ahead. Alex.
kangaroos like everywhere?
Look, they don't go down the main streets or anything, but I live we moved about 12 months ago into a suburban area, so about 40 minutes outside the CBD, and there are nature reserves around, and I see kangaroos and wallabies sometimes in the nature reserves, or sometimes dead on the road. So they are around.
Are they really super buff? I've seen pictures of like buff ass kangaroos. Just
Some,
like they
I
go to
mean,
the gym.
they spend all their hopping, that's muscular
No,
work.
every day is leg day for kangaroos.
Seriously.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a type of kangaroo, and I don't know the species, but there's some of them are like spend their time fighting, like they punch each other, and that's where the nickname the boxing kangaroos comes from.
Huh.
But I think they're the ones in Central Australia. They're pretty big subspecies. I think they're the big greys.
Johnny,
I'm not a botanist.
do you have an Australian question?
No, I just want to know more about these boxing kangaroos. Like, if
Oh.
they're gangs, like, is it like a West
I
Side
think so.
Story fight?
Yeah. Like there's videos of a kangaroo that punches people. And
It
he's
gets
like,
pretty deadly, right? Because they can get on their tail and just kick the shit out of you.
oh yeah, absolutely. They kill people. Yeah, that's why they say don't go near them.
But they're adorable, though. It's like,
Yeah.
if you were to like get punched in the nuts by a bunny or something like that, not expected, but
No, they'd be more likely to do it in the head, and you'd be dead.
oh Jesus, okay, all right.
I like how we have
my
one
question.
Australian. So we're like, we're going to ask you everything about Australia. It doesn't matter what it is. We got you here now.
Does the water really go the opposite direction in toilets? I guess you wouldn't know. You haven't been stateside.
Look, I don't know. I don't know if that's actually true, but I do know that on the equator, it doesn't go down, like on a ship, it won't go down the sink.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it because the Earth is flat?
Yeah, obviously.
Obviously. You didn't know that, academic?
Okay, my question is, please tell the audience what Podculture Oz is about.
Okay, so it is a podcast that is about genre fiction. And what we do, and we're monthly-ish, which means at the moment it's about every 2 months because it's very hard to get my co-hosts together to do it. But every month we look at a different genre fiction trope and we explore how that trope is handled across different formats. So literature, movies, TV, gaming, and that's tabletop gaming and computer gaming. And in one notable episode, we even talked about musicals. So that was really exciting for me. And so examples would be our first major, we did an intro episode, but my first major episode was looking at a megapoint theory, which is the evolution of humanity to have psychic powers. And that's actually how the podcast came about. Because, and this is my story, so I'm going to talk about it. I was watching the TV show Sense8, which was on Netflix. It's a Wachowski show about, people having mind powers and being in a cluster of 8 people and they can switch in and out of each other's bodies and use powers and stuff. And I was watching it going, this is really similar to a book series I've read by Julian May. And in Australia, it was called Saga of the Exiles. I think in America, it was called the Pliocene Saga. And people time traveled back to the Pliocene era and they had, psychic powers. And it was actually an 8-book series. There was another 4 books where it talked about how humanity was saved from self-destruction by intervention by aliens. And then it became a looping time travel sequence. But it was the mind powers part of it that I was really interested in because it was based on theories by a Jesuit priest called Pierre Teilhard de Chardin. And Catholic Church is like, yeah, we're not going with the shit. And scientists have since disproved it, saying, look, that's not going to happen. Disappointing, right? But it's great for speculative fiction. And so I was like, this stuff in Sense8 is really like the Julian May stuff. It's a completely different story, but the way they talked about the powers and how people could, come together, some kind of meta concert to be greater than their individual powers and work together and stuff, that was from Julian May. But Julian May was obviously using Pierre Teilhard de Chardin's powers. Anyway, I'm like, why is every single interview with Wachowski's just talking about how did you come up with the title Sense8 and not talking about the theories behind the show? And I was just whinging to some of my friends about going, well, this is just boring. I don't care about the stupid title of the show. I want to know about the ideas behind it. And my friends went, well, why don't you do something about it? I'm like, well, maybe I will then. And it took me a little while to get back together and do some research. And I'm like, well, I could do a blog, but you know what? I'm going to do a podcast. I'm going to teach myself how to podcast. So I did that. And I also realized I couldn't do endless podcast episodes about Sense8. So I thought, all right, well, every episode will do a different topic. So we've got one on fairy tales and we've got one on the politics of superheroes and we've got one on when artificial intelligence goes rampant and we've got all kinds of stuff. And I have a spreadsheet. I made sure I had at least 20 topics before I started. And
Awesome.
the spreadsheet grows.
Yeah, that's awesome. That sounds, I mean, very heavily researched. Sounds like it's a lot of work that goes
That's
into every
why
episode.
we didn't
Yeah.
want to do a weekly podcast. You know, it does take time to research. And we try to get guests in who've got other areas of interest. So when we did the politics of superheroes, it was actually a former flatmate of mine, but he writes comics. So he was our guest. And the most recent episode that we've done now, which is actually on adaptations. So not about a specific genre. We just looked at how one text can be adapted between formats. So a book to TV or a game to a TV show or whatever. Like we did talk about the Witcher and a few other things. And so I guess that time was from another podcast, but she's gone quite heavily into adaptations. She's from a romance podcast. And yeah, so it's just good to have experts on or people who've got an interest in a particular area to join us.
Wow, research and guests.
And
That's
preparation.
hats off. That's a lot of work.
And I've talked about, you know, we'll keep doing as long as it's fun and interesting. And originally I was splitting episodes up into different parts, like part 1, part 2. I just decided I didn't want to do that. We can be a little bit less frequent, but give people an entire episode at once because I don't want to wait a month for part 2. But also, I just think it's a bit more, in our case, a bit more respectful for the audience. Our episodes are long, you know, they're 2 hours long. People who want to listen are prepared to listen to 2 hours. You know, they don't need to listen to 1 hour this month, 1 hour next month. They're willing to listen to the full thing, you know, in their car or what as they're doing their housework or whatever, and they don't need to wait for the second half.
Yeah, I mean, people who are going to listen are going to listen. It doesn't matter the length.
Yeah.
If you're interested in the subject matter, you're going to tune in, and you know they can break it up themselves. They can pause it and then
Exactly.
come back from it. So yeah,
And I listen to
completely in
long
your boat.
podcasts myself, so I'm happy
Same.
to listen to deep dive podcasts, and
Same.
I do it about TV shows sometimes or about other topics. So I think, look, there's an audience out there for that. So you know.
Oh yeah. So I mean, you prepare your podcast. We just come on. We tell ourselves the day before, what do you guys want to talk about? We talk about it. That's pretty much
And
it.
there's value in that too. That's a different type of podcast, and I enjoy listening to podcasts like that too.
Yeah, we just preparation is not Johnny's strong point. Yeah.
So I get it. So you spend all your time doing research and doing all this stuff for your podcast, and when you want to feel dumb, you just turn on Nerds Talking the Podcast.
No, you turn on Johnny talking.
Why don't I punch you more often is my question.
Well, we're going to take a break here, and we'll be right back here on Nerds Talking the Podcast.
Hey everybody, this is Gerald from the Video Game Podcast. And here's my buddy Mike.
Hey, how you doing, man?
We talk video games.
That's right.
Xbox, Nintendo, PlayStation, what's coming out, what's new, old school, Genesis, Nintendo 64. Don't forget about
Sega Dreamcast, Sega Saturn, and of course, Super Nintendo.
We also tell you why video games are lame and how you're a loser for playing them, especially into your 40s.
Loser.
What is wrong with you? Get a job, get a life, play with your kids, go outside.
Get a hobby. Maybe go out and kill some squirrels and then stuff them and put them on top of your fireplace. I do that. It's kind of fun. You should do it too.
There's so much more to life. Like Nerds Talking the Podcast. New episodes every Friday, where you find your podcasts.
Nerds Talking the Podcast. We're listening to it right now because this ain't even real.
That's right.
Back to the show.
Welcome back to Nerds Talking the Podcast. Remember to rate, subscribe, review, turn on notifications, tell your friends. Every Tuesday and Friday, new episodes of Nerds Talking the Podcast. I'm here with Laura, Carlos, Johnny, Phillipa, and I am Lafayette. And we are going to jump into the top 5 Australians. That's right.
I would
Who are
like
your
to.
top 5? What would you like to do?
I would like to correct you. I believe you mispronounced her name. Is that correct?
How do you say it?
Phillipa, you idiot.
Did I say
on the first
Phillipa?
syllable.
Yeah, you
Phillipa.
said Phillipa.
Like Wiz Khalifa?
Yeah, Wiz Phillipa.
Wiz Phillipa?
I said it wrong as well, and you gave us the correct pronunciation, and I made a mental note of it.
Thank
so
you,
I
Laura.
wanted to correct Lafayette.
Yeah.
Phillipa.
Accent on the first syllable.
And now we got our top 5 Australians. What's your top 5 favorite Australian people? Hopefully you know them. Hopefully you know Australians. So I guess we're gonna start with we're not gonna start with Phillipa because I think for you it's easy.
It's like
So we're
mom,
gonna go-
dad,
5 friends.
my
Five
uncle.
friends.
Yeah.
Your mom, your dad, you know.
Nick, Dave, 5 people I know. We'll start with we'll go around the horn like typical. We'll start with Carlos. Carlos, give me a top 5 Australian.
5
In
though?
no particular order: Steve Irwin, Hugh Jackman, Russell Crowe, Mel Gibson, and the Healers.
Who's
the
that?
Healers.
So what the fuck is a healer?
Yeah, what the fuck's a
Is it a
healer?
band?
You don't know who the Healers are?
No.
Bandit, Chili, Bluey, and Bingo. The Healer family.
Ah, Bluey.
You know what? Get the fuck out. What the fuck is that?
I think they're dogs.
Yeah, right. The cartoon dogs. I mean, we said top 5 Australian people, and he
They're
named
Australians.
And
You
I
didn't
have
say
to tell
people.
you that
you said
technically
Australians.
Russell Crowe is from New Zealand.
dogs. That's true.
Is he really?
Russell Crowe is
Yeah, we
not
only
but
claim him if he's
Aussie.
done something good, and if he's doing something terrible, we go, "Oh, he's from New Zealand."
Oh, you guys are one of those. You bandwagon Aussies. I got you. I got you.
Well, he
All right.
grew up here.
Oh.
From
Oh, he
like,
did?
Well, from
But he wasn't
primary
born
school or
there?
high school or something, but his family is from New Zealand.
Oh, what
In
about
fact, his
Olivia
cousins used to play
Newton-John?
first grade cricket for the New Zealand cricket team.
Mm.
Martin
Oh.
Crowe and someone else Crowe.
All right.
Martin Crowe. Somebody else Crowe. I like it.
Johnny?
I only remember Martin, but I think he had another brother who played for New Zealand as well.
Give me your top 5 Australians.
And it's not Russell Crowe. He's New Zealand. He's a Kiwi.
Yeah, don't say Russell Crowe.
He
And do
was
not say
1 through
Bluey.
4, so fuck.
He was your entire list.
Yeah. Robert Whittaker
What?
is a UFC fighter from Australia.
Oh, well, you suck at this. All right.
Yeah.
Well, Laura, top 5
That's it? One
Australians.
person?
Well, his other 4 were one guy from New Zealand. So was it really? He's not really. He sucks at this. He sucks at everything. I don't know what's going on. Laura, top 5 Australia.
I'm going to borrow a little bit from Carlos' list as well, but my top number 1, Hugh Jackman. I mean, who doesn't love Hugh Jackman, right? I mean, just so charming, so funny. Can sing. Rebel Wilson, I love her. I think she's very funny. She got skinny now, and I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that. And then, I mean, Mel Gibson, who doesn't love Mel Gibson, despite, some things. And I just recently learned, as in quickly Googled it, that Geoffrey Rush is Australian. I didn't know that. I always assumed that he was British. And I really enjoy him. He's got a certain it factor. And then, I mean, Crocodile Dundee, right? I mean, I don't remember the actor's
Paul
name. What's the
Hogan?
actor's name? Paul Hogan. Sure. Him. There we go. Is that 5? I
Interesting.
think it is.
That is 5.
I thought
That
for
is
sure
5.
Johnny would have had Angela White on his list.
Don't know who that is, but
surprised.
that's right, Angela White.
I do know who Angela White is, but I mean, I'm not hearing her talk, right? When I'm watching her movies.
Well,
You're
like
hearing
making
her
some
moan.
sounds.
Porn star?
Yes. Angela
Yeah.
White, the number
like
one
a-
female porn star in the world currently. And
Now
she's
I'm
from
gonna-
Down Under.
O face
Oh,
in
Google her.
in Australian is it's a normal O face. So
All right.
Angela
all right.
White.
Well, let's go. I'll throw some at you. We'll go with
Whoa.
Kylie Minogue,
Yeah.
Keith Urban,
Shocked you've heard of her, but yeah, okay.
Simon Baker,
Interesting.
Heath Ledger,
Oh yeah.
AC/DC.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty much the Hemsworths. How can I
that's
forget
right.
the Hemsworths?
The Hemsworths. Well, Chris. Liam.
Liam's
He's nobody's favorite. Come on.
And
How
the
about-
oldest Hemsworth was really good in Westworld and a few other things.
Oh, that's right. The older Hemsworth.
How about Kate Blanchett?
She's great.
And I guess the last one I'll give you is Julian Assange. Well, he's an Aussie. Philippa, what is your top 5? Or just
Well, I
name
wasn't
some
prepared for this,
Aussies.
so this is
Americans.
You should
Mm.
know this. I mean, someone said, "Give me your top 5
yeah,
Americans."
you can just go through your phone.
Go, yeah, just go through your phone. my friend, my friend
First of all, I'm going
Jerry.
to say the Matildas, who are the women's soccer team who, in case you're not aware, we've got the World Cup going on, Women's World Cup going on in Australia at the moment. No Australian soccer team has got to the finals at all, and they won their quarterfinals, and last night they lost their semi-final versus England, but they've done better than any Australian soccer team ever, and awesome, well done to them. I was actually at a writers' conference on the weekend, and we had our gala dinner with the awards going on Saturday night, and the quarterfinal was on at the same time, and every table around the room had people on their phones, and every so often cheers would burst out around the room. Oh, sorry. Cheers would burst out around the room as the Matildas scored a goal, and it was like 0-0, and then it went into extra time, still 0-0, like the world's most exciting game, right? And then they went to penalties, and the penalties went on for more than half an hour because it went to 10 per side.
Damn.
And the Matildas won that one. So that was like, well done them. You mentioned Kate Blanchett. I'm a big fan of hers and what she does with the theatre. Kathy Freeman, who is the first Australian woman to win the 100 metres, and she won it in the Sydney Olympics. I have to say, Dave, who helped me massively.
Dave made it. Yeah, there you go, Dave. You made a top 5 list.
I broke my arm really, really badly last year and spent 6 months in a cast and couldn't have got through daily life without him helping me. So, like,
how'd you break your arm?
I broke my humerus, upper arm. Horrific. Do not do it. Can't recommend.
How'd you do it?
Oh, well, it was very glamorous. I caught my foot on a box, tripped and slammed into the wall at home.
Ooh. So the next time you tell that story is you were saving a baby from a burning building.
No, my brother says it's the worst story ever. I have to say I did it drag racing or,
Yeah, something.
Boxing
part
a
of my sector
kangaroo.
select. Well, I guess
Boxing
my
a
point
kangaroo.
is,
Oh my god.
Bones, okay? You broke your arm running into a door?
no,
Running into a door. Did you not listen?
Into a wall? I mean, still, are your bones okay? Do you have good bone density?
I do have good bone density. Yeah, it was just, I think, the angle and the momentum, and it was real. The reason I'm talking about it is because it could happen to anyone. And I went to the hospital and they said, we almost never see humerus breaks. You've just broken the worst bone in the body. And I'm like, oh, hooray! And like, it was terrible. They didn't operate and put pins in. They gave me what's called a hanging slab cast, which weighed 5 kilos, which is what, 10 or 11 pounds. And they used gravity to set it. And it didn't set in the first 12 weeks. So I had to go in for another 12 weeks of cast. It was just torture.
So who put the box there?
Awful.
Can't even sit up from bed. I had to text Dave and say, can you just help me sit up, please? And like, just a nightmare. Can't dress yourself, can't do anything. So fortunately, my job let me work from home for 6 months instead of like laying me off. But it was just a terrible time. And I can't, and anyone could have had the kind of accident I had, and it was just a bad set of circumstances.
So Dave's on the list. All right.
That's ironic, right? The humorous, but it was the least funny break.
I have no idea how many times people have said that to me.
Johnny, you're a loser. You
I'm pretty sure that's the first
jokes.
time you've heard it. That's the first time you've heard it.
Probably the first time from an American. So that's a good point.
Yeah, not even the first time from an American.
Nah, not even the first American.
First time today. First time today.
Vietnamese.
Yeah, how about first Vietnamese to tell you that? Yep, there it is.
I'll take it. A
win's a
win.
win. Yeah.
What was that? The first what?
Vietnamese.
The first Vietnamese to tell you that.
Why
she's
she's
Maybe first
you know what she's
Vietnamese
thinking?
American.
Like, I don't think.
Oh, there you go. First Vietnamese.
Wow, had to really narrow it down. How about who's number 4 on your list?
Well, Dave was number 4. So
who's number 5?
Number 5. I might just leave it at that.
All
Because
right.
I feel that the Matildas fill out a lot of spaces.
They took like 26 spaces, yeah.
Yeah, or however many. Yeah.
I'll name a couple more for you. Guy Pearce, Tony Colletti, Sam Worthington.
Yeah.
Are the
Hugo
Jets
Weaving.
from Australia?
Who did you say? Sam Worthington?
Sam Worthington. Yeah.
No, not a fan of him.
Not a fan. Hugo Weaving.
Oh, I like Hugo Weaving. In fact, I went to see a play in Sydney and he was sitting next to me.
Oh.
So I texted America and said, I'm sitting next to Elrond and Agent Smith.
Agent. What's his name? What was his name? Agent Smith?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Isla Fisher.
Isla Fisher? Yeah, she's married to Sacha Baron Cohen.
Yes. Eric Bana.
Banner. Yeah, he's all right.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just actors and models. Tried to go outside that. I mean, I could name some. Oh, actually, I know. I will say Dr. Anita Heiss, who is an author who was at the conference I was at on the weekend. She is an First Nations Indigenous author who writes. She's very inspirational, and she writes everything. She said, she wanted to have Indigenous women in romance fiction, and there wasn't any, so she wrote some. And then she wanted Indigenous children's stories, and there weren't any, so she wrote some children's books. And she wanted to have Indigenous women represented in women's fiction, and there weren't any, so she wrote that. She's got about 30 books published in multiple genres, including fiction and non-fiction, because there were just there weren't any representing her and her people, so she just wrote them. I'm like, that's amazing. You're my hero.
Oh, Elle McPherson.
Cool.
Somebody, Carlos.
You're just gonna okay, yeah.
The
gonna
Jets.
Go skate
The
by all
The
that.
Jets are Australian.
Yeah, they're from Newcastle.
No way, really? I see. I did not know that.
Yeah, they used to play at my uni.
No way. Yeah, and they were a great band, and then they just disintegrated, which totally sucked because they're phenomenal. So there you go, people. If you don't know your Australians, you know quite a few now. Did everybody here watch our movie of the week?
Yes.
We are Heart of Stone, starring Gal Gadot. I think that's the only real star in that movie, right? It's Gal Gadot.
Oh no, there were a few others.
Jamie
Yeah.
Doran, whatever his name is, the
Yeah.
guy from 50 Shades of Grey. I was like, "Oh, I know you from," and I'm like, "Oh, that."
Yeah, Jamie Dornan. And also Sophie, I kind of don't know how to say her surname. Okonodo, who was like
I don't think I've ever seen her before.
Oh, haven't you? She was Susan Sanchi in Wheel of Time. And she's been in a few other things I've seen lately.
So let's jump into our review of Heart of Stone, starring Gal Gadot on Netflix. And we just spoke about Gal Gadot recently because, well, Laura is doubling as Gal Gadot, and the Gal Gadot diet, which only lasted a few days, but she's moved on. 7 days. Are you onto a new diet fad besides Gal Gadot? Are you just
Don't talk about me anymore in my diet.
I'm just saying in general.
I don't want to talk about it anymore.
All right. So I mean, she's given up. She's all Gal Gadot. What will Gal Gadot do? I got you. So as you know, Gal Gadot has been in the news lately for being Wonder Woman and not Wonder Woman and Wonder Woman again and then not again. So yeah, we don't know, but we know what we do know is she's not Wonder Woman. I don't know. And now she has this movie on Netflix, and I guess it didn't do too well. They're saying that not a lot of viewers for this movie. So yeah, it's a spy thriller. Couple of twists thrown in there, and we will start with Johnny because Johnny's got it fresh on the mind. Johnny, what's your review for Heart of Stone, starring Gal Gadot on Netflix?
Holy shit! This was the best movie I've seen in the last 30 years. Yeah. Oh wait, no, we're not talking about.
We're not talking about Oppenheimer. I mean, you need to. Are you sure we're talking about the right movie?
Not a fan of this movie. There were a lot of. So she's a spy trying to be a spy, helping another spy. Like what the shit was that all about? Like the MI6 people were like, oh, there's another secret organization. We're spies, but those are spies. Like, I don't know, that was kind of stupid. It just started off at this weird criminal ski resort.
It was a criminal ski resort.
Like underneath, they're like doing bets on like murder operations, and then up top they're gambling. But then on the balcony, they're just having drinks and partying and fucking. I don't know. It's just a weird place. Just the way that it started off, I was afraid that the direction that it was going, because her friend was like Jarvis telling her where to go, what to do, the percentages of her succeeding, all that shit. Wasn't a fan of the nicknames. Like it was just like so she was a 9 of hearts, and I'm just glad they picked like that deck of cards and not like Uno cards. So she's not like draw 4 or skip or.
They should have draw skip.
They draw 4.
Netflix should have draw skip.
Draw skip. They should have skipped. There were a lot of things that just made me smile, but not on purpose, right? Like the car chase scene. Like she's being chased by like the spy, another secret organization other than the Charter, and they have like the worst budget because the cars were like 1980 like BMWs. I get it, like they're in, maybe that's the cars of the time, but like there was a scene where the car chase ended and the bad guy is in the back of a scooter and he like just taps the guy on the shoulder and they fucking drive away. That's just not an evil henchman to me. Like just that's so many things
is what it is.
Maybe an intern.
Maybe he's just obeying the rules of the road.
Like in Mission Impossible, like if that guy got on the back of somebody's scooter and said, let's roll, you would be like, all right, well, I don't respect this guy as a henchman. So I mean, overall it was all right. It was better than her last movie, the one with The Rock and Ryan Reynolds. That one was really bad. This
Was that,
one
was that Red Notice?
yes.
I think it was. Yeah.
So it was better than that one. Overall, I'm gonna give it a.
I'm
I'm gonna give it a 2.5 because they Gal Gadot is so goddamn pretty, and they just they didn't take advantage of that. Like, give me something. So 2.5.
We got a 2.5 on the board so far. That's Johnny's score, 2.5. Carlos, what's your take on Heart of Stone, Netflix, Gal Gadot?
I don't even know where to begin. This cinematic classic that I watched on Netflix. Oh man! At first, I was kind of intrigued. I'm like, okay, this is kind of different. The guy, like Johnny said, the Jarvis, the lenses that she had on, whatever, gave her a path and all this stuff. Like, it's kind of cool. Kind of reminds me of a video game, but just the overall plot of the movie was just really dumb. And the percentage that he kept getting was from this AI, right? The heart is what was giving them the probabilities of success of their missions. But I just wasn't buying it. I mean, I bought her as, I guess, as a spy. It just didn't do well for me. The fight scenes were fine. I don't know. I really don't have anything too good to say about it, except for, like Johnny said, Gal Gadot was in it. Netflix, you gave us a 2.5-star movie.
Was this better for you? Was this better than Ghosted?
Oh, good call. Is it better than Ghosted?
No.
Which we reviewed poorly.
No.
Okay.
Ghosted, I don't know. Anna de Armas, a better femme fatale than Gal Gadot.
Spy or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, the end of that movie is stupid. All right. So we got 2.5s on the board. We're gonna go to Phillipa. You are up with your review of Heart of Stone, starring Gal Gadot on Netflix.
Okay, so like I'm a big spy fiction fan. I cut my teeth on John le Carré. And as I've mentioned on my podcast, I highly recommend the BBC version of Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, which is it's available on YouTube on the BBC channel. It has Sir Alec Guinness as the character that Gary Oldman plays in the terrible movie. So get in there and watch it. It's like it's actually made in the 1970s, so it's not like people role-playing 1970s characters. I'm all over spycraft. I read a lot of Len Dayton. I don't watch James Bond because I think they're garbage, but I thought I'd give this a fair go. It's garbage. Like, the story makes no sense at all. Yeah, Gal Gadot's pretty. I was watching it going, this is a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. They've ripped off Double Team with the secret spy organization, except that's on an island. Can I just say how confusing it is that they have people. I kind of liked like the agents were all named after playing cards. Like, that's cool, and the different teams. But then to have the magic widget named the Heart when you've got an entire suit of hearts was really confusing. Could they not come up with a better name than that? Like, they kept getting, like, we've got the King of Hearts, we've got the Heart. I'm like, is that the same thing? No, it's Joker, a computer. Whatever.
The Joker or something. You're right.
Yeah, like whatever.
Confusing.
The dealer.
They could just have had it named nothing to do with a pack of cards. Like,
Go Fish.
Why name your magic widget the same as one?
Awesome.
Sorry?
They could have called it Go Fish.
Yeah, they could have called it anything. But having it named after 1/4 of your characters was ridiculous. And also the 50 Shades of Grey guy, once you get his backstory and the reason for his motivation, which was really pathetic, there's no way he would have been put back in the field after the operation that went bad. And that just annoyed the shit out of me because, like, why pretend? Like, is that the best you could come up with?
No, that's a good point. But I from what I gathered from the movie, everyone thought he was dead, right? Like, so
MI6 didn't. They knew that he was alive.
No, but like the Heart knows everything, right? The Heart infiltrates MI6, and they didn't know that he was alive again.
No, the Heart doesn't brief MI6. MI6 doesn't know about the Heart.
See, that I mean, because the Heart was this all-knowing thing and has the percentages on everything, it just didn't recognize him. It didn't.
It makes no sense. That's the thing that annoys me.
I didn't like that.
It wasn't even internally consistent with its own rules.
Right.
But if you want to see a good spy story, check out Slow Horses on Apple Plus. It's got Gary Oldman in it, and it's about a series of burnt spies. You know, the ones who've screwed up their missions. And there's Slow Horses, yeah.
Yeah. I started
And-
to watch this. I watched like 2 or 3 episodes. My husband wasn't interested, but I was interested.
that-
I wanted to go back.
That's about agents whose operations have blown up for whatever reason. Sometimes it's their fault, sometimes it's not. And they're put in this like house to work on paperwork and missions and trailing that doesn't matter very much. And that's what Jamie Dornan's character would have been doing, right? If he'd been in an operation that went bad. He would not have been in a, top European team, immediately. It makes no sense in terms within its genre. It makes no sense internally with its own story. And that just annoys me. It's just lazy writing. And basically it was held together by action scenes. And look, this is probably just me, but every single action scene went on too long. I'm like, I'm over it now. Are they still going? Well, they're still it's still going. Oh, can we just move on with the story now? Because I'm bored. Oh, she's still going down the cable car. Oh, she's still on a mud. Oh God, can I fast forward? All right, I'll fast forward it now.
That's
Yeah,
because they didn't have a story to go back
Exactly.
to.
No, they
That's
didn't
the
have a story to go
problem.
back to, and that's why
it.
every
Yeah.
single action scene was twice as long as it needed to be. And and I'm speaking as a white person, but I just got annoyed at how every single person of color just died.
Yeah, well,
All the Asian women died really quickly.
Johnny, how do you feel?
That's anyway,
What other women of color died?
Sorry. The Asian woman at the start, not woman, BD Wong, who I love, and he died. That was outrageous.
Oh, King of Clubs.
King of
Oh,
Clubs.
they did get rid of all the Asians, but then like the Indian girl was left, so some people call them Asians.
That is true.
In
but
Australia,
they're
we don't.
not. No,
Southeast
they're not
Asians.
No,
Yeah.
they're not. They're not Asians. Come on,
I
let's
know,
not get
I
crazy.
agree, but
Yeah,
yeah,
let's
they
not-
did really did that. That's you gotta stop Asian hating. It's about time. You know what I'm saying?
Wait, what?
But it was really obvious as well. I'm like, oh, yeah, okay.
So
like
what's your
somebody
what's your final score?
Oh, 2.
All right, we got a 2, 2.5, and a 2.5, and we have a Laura. That's what we got. Laura, what's your take on Heart of Stone? Netflix, Gal Gadot.
Just as it started, I was like, this is lowest common denominator bullshit. As I started watching it, I was like, I have enough of this in my life, this generic, no real story, no real teeth, no anything. And they're just streaming services are just cranking this shit out. And I get it. I bet it's easy to make and I bet it's fun to make. And opposed to stupid shit. I mean, Mission Impossible, it's not a great, gritty spy drama. It's pure popcorn, okay? But at least it's earned its pure popcorn status for the last 20 years. And so this comes out and I'm just like, I have enough of this franchise shit. I have enough of this popcorn bullshit. I don't need more. And yet here I am watching it. And it's just, I mean, to reiterate what everybody said, it's just fucking bad. Like the story doesn't make any sense. She's a spy within a spy. They're betting on armed conflicts in the basement of this evil ski resort. It's just stupid. And it was funny, the group, the spy group of MI6, who acted like a bunch of teenagers, by the way. They're like laughing and dancing and somebody's flirting with somebody and I'm just like, what the fuck am I watching? And he's like, oh, The Charter, it sounds like a Saturday morning cartoon. I'm like, yeah, you're right, it does. This plot is fucking stupid. And then the AI, this omnipresent AI, apparently it's dumb because like Phillipa said, it didn't even know that what's his name was a
MI6.
bad guy.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you totally missed out on that, you omnipresent, genius.
Not as
And
smart as Mission Impossible AI at all.
yeah, exactly. And I was thinking about it, like even before they talked about it, I was like, this is fucking creepy if you think about it for 5 seconds. This gross, creepy nerd is in the middle of this omnipresent AI, and the only way it's able to do that is by hacking into every phone, every data point, everything ever. And I was like, apparently the Charter doesn't give a shit about privacy data or anything like that because it's clearly doing this all illegally. And then they get into this thing is like, oh, I'm taking it because it's so good and they're not doing anything about it. And it's just so dumb. And a lot of talk about the ends justify the means and greater good and all this stuff. And I'm just like, this is gross and I don't enjoy it. And it was way too long. It did not need to be 2 hours. I don't know why it went this long. And yeah, it was boring. It was stupid. 2 stars, and I'm giving it 2 stars because of exactly the reason why Johnny said. Gal Gadot's gorgeous, and they didn't put her in a teeny tiny bikini and flaunt her and put her in, some slinky dress and have her seduce someone. So that's why it gets 2 stars instead of 1.
100% agree with you, Laura. Like when I watch a movie with Angela White and like she's not doing what she's made to do, like it
made
really
to
bothers.
do. First of all, made to do.
No, no, you're
What?
saying it for the opposite reason. I'm giving it more stars because I like it when things turn against type. I don't like when things are predictable and she is not doing what
I
is
see.
expected of her in her slinky dresses.
No, but you're right.
So-
Johnny
I
also
didn't
likes
realize that you're dead to me now. So
Johnny also likes when Miss White does unpredictable stuff.
No, but
It-
she
her
Gal looked
next video is going to be her reading a book. That's what, her next.
Yes.
Triple
If
X
you want
film
to
is
see
gonna
a
be.
secret spy organization on an island, fighting counter terrorist attacks around the world, check out the Jean-Claude Van Damme movie Double Team. It's actually better, and it won 3 raspberries. So
I mean, it's Jean-Claude Van Damme.
that's the one that has the infamous
go
scene where
wrong.
he protects himself from an explosion with a Pepsi vending machine.
as he should. And I
Yeah,
think that's also
absolutely.
the one. I think that's also the one where his twins like black silk underwear and then whatever. Like
That's
they're-
Double Impact.
I think that-
the
Wrong
double
one.
impact.
I think
There's
that's
two
Double
doubles?
Impact.
Is double
You're
take
getting
with
your-
Dennis Rodman?
No.
Yeah.
That's
That's
what I
Double
thought.
Trouble.
Okay. With
I've
Dennis
watched a lot
Rodman.
of Jean-Claude Van Damme movies
Yeah,
with
and
my
I've seen
former housemate.
just about all of them. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
he's-
but Double
he's
Team is the one with
fantastic.
I think the girlfriend had the butterfly tattoo.
Okay, yeah, this movie is horrible. Even Gal Gadot couldn't save it. Proves that Gal Gadot does not have actual star power, to be honest. She just doesn't. Her starring, her only real star power role, she's playing a beloved comic book character, right? So I think if
This
anybody
is just
was
a shit writing and shit movie. I mean,
no,
Okay,
she
sorry.
couldn't
I
save it.
don't
She's
mean
not
that.
a good actress, and she's not a good number one. She's not a good actress. Number two, this movie made her look every bit of a 30-year-old mom. I mean, she was not like very attractive in this movie. She just kind of, she looked kind of.
I don't know about that.
Yeah,
Fight words.
she looked
I think she
bland.
looks fucking amazing. And the
She
only
looked good
difference
in
what
that.
you're seeing
Yeah.
is
Nah.
just she's not in a little
That's-
teeny tiny outfit.
No,
And
mhm, there-
she's not
that's right. I missed the
covered
boat.
with makeup
Mhm.
and like
Missed
CGI
the boat.
airbrush.
She's
and that
CGI.
kind of thing.
What?
Or digitally airbrush. You do not tell me that in Wonder Woman that they
You
did not
telling
touch
me
up
it
her
takes
face.
this much to make her look pretty?
Absolutely, I think they digitally enhance her in the Marvel movies.
In
Absolutely. And she looks amazing. But she's gorgeous here too. She's a beautiful woman.
You know
Shut
what I
your
think it
mouth.
is? I think it's the bangs that did it in for me. Like because
Nobody likes
even
bangs. Really,
the
truly,
last
they don't.
the last scene, she's in a form-fitting dress. Everything else was gorgeous, and then the
The
bangs
bangs.
came out, and she looked like New Girl.
she did. She looked like Zoe Deschanel. It just wasn't a good movie whatsoever. It just
She
was
looked great
horrible.
in that one piece, that black one piece, because her legs were never ending. I'm like, God damn, girl.
I mean, Johnny said this
Legs
is better
for
than Red
days.
Notice. This is not better than Red Notice. Fucking not even close.
I didn't
Red-
say it was better than Red Notice.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
You did say it's
No.
better than Red Notice.
You said
Yes,
this
you
was
did.
better than her last
You
one.
said this is
with
better
The
than her
Rock.
last movie with The Rock and Ryan Reynolds, and I'm like,
Did I say that?
"What? Yeah,
You did. Do I need to go back to the transcripts? Do I need to?
Yeah. That movie was 10
Right.
times better than this. I mean, I'll be honest. I can't name
10
very,
times.
very many good Gal Gadot movies.
2
I mean,
times, maybe.
I can't name very many good Gal. I mean, somebody name at least 2 good Gal Gadot movies,
Wonder Woman
where she's like the star of the movie.
I honestly don't even know what she's in other than
and Wonder Woman. If you watch it twice.
So you watched it twice?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she's been in Fast and Furious. She's been in was it Death on the Nile?
Oh yeah.
Did like that. She was good in that.
No,
Everyone was good in
she's-
that.
No. Nope.
Wasn't she like the body?
Yeah, but she was good before she was the body. No, she didn't. She didn't die. Did she?
Yeah,
die?
she dies. Yes.
He was
she
the one who
dies.
died. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, no, I'm telling you, you can't name much with her that you're like, I have to go out and see this movie. Like she's
Outside
not.
Wonder Woman, no, because even in Batman versus Superman, she was good in that.
Yeah. It's just again, I think it was the spectacle of us seeing a Wonder Woman and going, oh wow, that's what Wonder Woman looks like. All right. And again, no, she's not really that good of an actress, and she can't carry a film. She just, no. Anyway,
Or
to
it's
me,
just a shit movie.
the movie's really just a 1.5. It's not a good movie. I mean, I was bored most of it. Like, oh my God, where is this crap going? Like, this is really shitty. Yeah, no, the storyline's dumb. Like Johnny said, a spy versus a spy that knows another spy, and you're like, ugh, like get out of here, Netflix. You make bad movies, and they do make bad movies also.
Truly.
Yeah, they make bad movies, and this is actually like again one of their so-called blockbusters that Netflix has said that nobody's watching. And now again, are they not watching it because it's Gal Gadot, or are they not watching it because the premise? Like,
They're not watching it because it's not fucking good.
No, but that's just it. How would you know if you haven't watched it? Is what I'm saying. What's making people not watch it?
I mean, I imagine that it's not been well reviewed, and I mean, I haven't watched the trailer, but I imagine that the trailer probably telegraphs how fucking bad it is.
Well, the other thing too is Netflix even being transparent about their numbers, because that's part of the reason of the actors' strike, because streaming services are not transparent about their numbers. And so who knows who's really watching and who's not watching? Because they could say it was a big hit. It was huge, made all kinds of subscribers, but they're going to say it failed because then they got to pay more money if this actors' strike wins. If they win.
But then you get things like the Glass Onion movie, which I think did do well.
It did do well, yes.
And people know that it did well, and a lot of people watched it, and there was a lot of buzz about it, and people are talking about it. So if people watch it, they talk about it.
We're talking about this movie, and it's crap.
Yes, and the other thing also, as you stated, and I completely forgot what you said, so I'm just gonna make this up.
Me or who?
Yeah,
I agree with what you said, but I don't remember what.
I don't remember.
Anyway,
the reviews, the king of misinformation.
the reviews of this movie on Heart of Stone is 29% on Rotten Tomato. You know, here's the consensus. Gal Gadot remains an entertaining action star, but she's no match for the Heart of Stone thinly written characters, generic plot, and role set pieces. Are people not watching it because it's a Gal Gadot movie? Are they not like, I don't care if she's in it. Like, she's not a big enough.
That's the only reason I watched it. The only reason I watched it.
The only reason I watched it.
That would be the only reason that I would have watched it, was because she was in it. I don't think that Gal Gadot turns anybody off. I think the terribleness of the movie.
See, I watched it for her, but about 30 minutes in, I was like, why am I watching this trash? Like,
it's better than the Outlaws.
Well, same.
And again, because she couldn't even save it. Let's put it that way. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I mean. She can't save a movie, even if it sucks. You're like, oof. Like,
I feel like you're harshing on Gal Gadot a lot. I mean, do you have some like issues you need to work out with Gal? Because
listen, I'm gonna let you know the truth. I tried her diet for 3 days. She's a lying bitch. I didn't know she liked pizza and ice cream. Gal, what are you doing?
You modeled the wrong gal.
Karen Gadot.
Karen Gadot.
But I was just having a look at her movie history. She hasn't made a lot of movies. Most of them
really
were either Fast and Furious or superhero movies. She may not be able to judge a good script.
Yeah,
that's true.
That's a good point.
Her agent may have said, here's a good action movie. It's a spy thriller.
I mean,
there's some great action scenes. And the action scenes were pretty good if they weren't so long.
I'm going to say that she's probably just not getting the role she goes for good scripts. Because, again, not a great actress.
I don't think it's her acting ability. I think
her acting ability is okay. I mean, she's
quite
not
fine.
Kate Blanchett, but there's plenty of...
She's not Kate Blanchett. Correct. That's an Aussie shout out.
But I think it's also her...
I saw Kate Blanchett live, and I was in the front row on stage. She's amazing.
Yeah, that's right. She ain't no Kate Blanchett.
Yeah.
Carlos?
But there's a lot of scope between Kate Blanchett and Rock Bottom, and she's not terrible. She's okay. But you need to have a good script that showcases what she can do, and that script was not it.
I mean, let's be honest. She got the movie because the producer wanted her to star in the movie. She was going to do it anyway because they told her, hey, this is your movie. Netflix already picked it up. You're going to be the star of this movie. And at that point, you're like,
she's capable of doing the stunt work herself.
Like, I'm good. Let's do it. I mean, I'm the star of the movie. I'm not going to say no to that.
I would.
Yes, I would. Oh, yeah. I'd say no to... Oh, my God. I'd be like, what are you, stupid?
What I was going to say is, it's not her acting ability. I think she can act just fine. I'm not saying she's an Oscar-winning actress, but she can act just fine. I think what's holding her back, unfortunately, is her accent. It's her accent that doesn't give her the roles that she may be going for. I mean, unfortunately, this role worked for her because she's supposed to be like an international spy, right? But I think that's what holds her back is her accent, not her
Can
acting
she not
ability.
do other accents?
No, she can't do accents.
I don't think I've ever heard her without her accent.
Because she can speak about 5 languages, so presumably she fluently, I understand. So presumably she can do a passable French and German on whatever accent.
But she can't do the
American accent.
Oh,
She
anyone
can't.
can do an American accent.
No, she
Phillipa?
can't.
Do it,
That's
do
what
it,
one-
do it,
All
do
right,
it,
you
do
put
it.
yourself on the spot.
Do it. I can do an American accent. I can do different American accents. I can do a Southern accent because I've listened to that movie with Jodie Foster, and Mel Gibson. Is that fast? I think
No,
that's
I'm
fast.
not.
You
buying
sound like
it.
an Australian doing
No,
a
we're not
Western.
Trying to do it
buying
I actually have
yeah,
to
we're
listen
not
to the
buying
movie
any
again,
of it.
but the one with Jodie Foster and Mel Gibson set in the
You're talking about no, that's Maverick. That's the wrong one.
no, but his character's name was Maverick. He was the card player.
Oh, it is
that's a
Maverick.
Western,
No, it
yeah.
is
Oh,
called
Maverick.
Maverick.
It is Maverick. Yeah.
It is
it's
in
called
Maverick?
Maverick. Yeah.
I used to listen to that and copy Jodie Foster, but I can do a range of
I
it.
don't know.
English
Phillipa,
accent.
I don't
when
know.
you do the accent, you sound like a Phillipa. Like
Wiz
Do the
Phillipa.
accent. I
well,
sound like a
you sound like
Phillipa.
Wiz Phillipa. I
Yeah.
didn't hear an American.
You know what it is? It's because you have to give her time to get in the mode.
No, you got to
Get
get in
into the
character. I get
You
it.
got to get in character. So you
Gotta
get in
get in
character
character,
because
yeah.
Carlos is going to do an Australian accent also.
Yeah, well, Carlos can train an
Yeah.
Australian
I
accent.
don't think that's
Yeah.
gonna happen because
Oh,
That's pretty good. That's pretty
That is
good.
pretty good. And that's not
We're
bad.
all
my
gonna
God.
embarrass ourselves
Yeah.
trying to do
Yeah.
accents.
Okay, hold
That's
on.
okay.
No, hold on.
It's
Hold
gonna
on.
get a little racist.
Yeah, Laura, you're gonna do an accent too. You can pick the one you want. It doesn't have to be Australian. All right. So everybody ready? Okay.
Wait.
So
Does it
you go
can I
first
do a
then, tough
Southern
guy.
American
You
accent?
go first.
No, American accent doesn't count.
No,
Okay.
you can't let
right.
Lafayette go first. He's
Yeah, well,
gonna
I'm not gonna
start
go
off
first.
super racist.
I am. You know that already. Okay, Johnny, you take your time. You think about what you want. All right, what you want to do. All right, I already know what you're gonna do. It's okay. All right. Phillipa, you are number 1. American accent. We are ready.
Well, it depends on what you want to hear.
It
you
doesn't
know.
matter. You can
I-
pick anything you want to do.
I already am. I'm not doing the Barbie accent because that's like really in your face. But I had a friend from California, and I used to spend a lot of time with her, and we used to copy each other's accents all the time. So see if I can just switch to her a little bit.
You're doing
And-
okay. I could definitely hear it. I can still hear the Australian, but I mean, I can hear a difference.
It was better. It was better.
Better.
Well, that's because I wasn't actually. I was just mucking around the first time because I was trying to copy Laura because I don't know what your accent is, but yours is further back.
Classic Midwestern.
Okay, Johnny, you're up. This is gonna be good. Man, go ahead.
I don't know what to do, but my Filipino friends they tell me that when I do this accent, I sound like their uncle. Sometimes I talk to the Filipinos like this, and we
Yes,
do
Filipino.
lumpia together, and
Yep.
and then my little cousin goes, "Sst, oi, sit, oi," and then it's like a Joe Coy impression or something.
That was
Yes.
fantastic. That definitely was Filipino.
Yeah, I know a lot of Filipino.
Oh, Laura, go ahead. Anything you want to do. And you're like, God damn it.
It's the accents.
You
I'm
what?
going to try
Oh,
something kind of Russian, Eastern European. I don't know. I'm not good.
All right, Laura, don't take offense to this. Please don't take offense to this. But could
Oh
you-
God.
if I sent you something to read, could you just record it for me and I'll do with it what I want.
I mean, you pay. I don't care.
does it have to be that
You-
Russian
you-
accent?
You pay.
No, it does.
It does. I got to,
Yeah.
I will give you
Wow.
lots of
I send you my
rubles.
Venmo.
rubles.
Oh
I
my
send you Venmo.
Venmo. No, remember, it's a Cash App, I think, over there, or WhatsApp.
Cash App.
Also,
Sorry.
you got the WhatsApp.
Cash App.
I have
I call
WhatsApp.
you. I send you Cash App. You send me script. I'll do it.
I make magic. That's what you say. I make magic.
I'll give you my ATM, my PIN number right now. It's
Right
1, 2,
now.
3,
Yes.
4.
Yeah.
And by the way, if
Yes.
you look on the Heart of Stone movie, I
Uh-huh.
think when she's on the blimp, the passcode to get in
Yeah,
was
yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Was it? That's real
I'm
simple.
pretty sure it was the same as my ATM.
Ugh,
number.
Gal.
So, Gal.
All right, Carlos. I see you drinking water. He must have something ready. All right, he's ready.
I'm
Here
not
he
drinking
goes.
water.
Okay, what are you drinking?
I thought you were gonna do like a fish thing, like a dolphin or something.
Like a noise. Just make a noise.
This is a whale southeast of Florida. Whale.
I like how southeast of Florida, like the particular part of Florida, they have different accents.
It's a redneck
warmer
whale.
No accent. All right.
Mm.
Well, I think we got it.
You're
We
up.
got anything. Count my up. You're waiting for you to do an accent.
I just did it.
I'm
I did.
already
What'd you do?
offended.
What
Yeah.
was
Right?
it?
The guy who avoids accents. I did that accent.
Here's the thing, too.
Oh,
The
spot
guy
on.
that
Cop
avoids
out.
accents. Yeah. This is the guy that wanted to do a show with everybody doing an accent the entire show. And then when I brought it
That
up, he's
would
like,
be so fucked.
he was like, we're not doing that show. I was
I
like,
didn't
you
say
know
that.
what?
Who said that? I didn't say
You
that.
came up with it. He said, we're doing the accent show. And
I
was
know.
like,
Well, you got to prep for it. You got to be ready for it. You can't just,
oh, okay.
you just throw it in.
I just want to know if you were to do the accent show, what accent would you do?
for the show.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, you
Yeah,
understand the premise of the show is this: you put basically a wheel of accents, but it doesn't have to be.
Oh,
It could be like-
Like Jimmy
I'm telling
Fallon.
me it was like surprise accents.
No, Australian accent. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Stallone, something like that, and then
Gotcha.
everybody gets a chance to spin the wheel, and whatever they land on, that's what they got to do.
Oh, that's even harder
There-
for sure. Johnny, what did you learn about Australia?
Angela White.
All right.
Johnny, on a different episode when you talked about my podcast before, because we've done a thing, and I listened to it, and I thought you said Mudgee. I think you actually said something about Jumanji, and I was like, oh, he knows about our white wine country. So I thought I misheard you. I thought you said Mudgee. It was only when I went back and listened to it.
Lafayette is notorious for mispronouncing shit and getting lazy with his speech. It's funny because he doesn't drink, but he sounds drunk.
Yo,
Sometimes.
she's talking about you. Are you not
No,
understanding?
I think it was Johnny.
Yeah.
And, I think you were talking about the movie Jumanji, but I thought you said Mudgee.
Jumanji.
But I thought it was funny because I misheard it, and that was my mistake. And I was talking about it, and I'm like, I think you said Jumanji. And I went, oh no, it's Mudgee. And I thought you were talking about our nice wine growing region.
No, he knows nothing about Australia. He knows absolutely nothing. He's an idiot. Carlos, what did you learn about Australia?
That they have deadly creatures.
Yeah, we already knew that though.
You
That's
already
it,
knew
You
that,
didn't learn
right?
Shit. Yeah, you're fucking lazy.
Yeah, but that was all just myth until you actually hear it from the horse's mouth.
Ah, so you have to hear it from an Aussie to
Yeah.
really get it. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, I
you
also
know what?
learned that Russell Crowe is not Australian. That son of a bitch is a liar.
How about you, Laura? What'd you learn about Australia?
Was that supposed to be an Australian accent?
No, it's not an Australian accent. Just talk like this all the time. It's not. It is a little bit Irish. Yeah.
What did I learn about Australia? I learned that it's a land of
Oh, good lord, we know it's a
smart
land.
women with smart podcasts.
Why you're so lame.
Oh, that was pretty good.
That was
You threw
good
out you threw
job.
out a compliment, and I went the porn route. So
That is true.
you're the
Classic
class.
Johnny.
You're
Like
the
how-
classy
yeah.
one.
Yeah, Johnny gets all dirty, but he knows about Jumanji apparently.
I do
So,
know about the
there
wine
you go.
country.
Oh, Vegemite, is that like a thing you guys all eat? Like,
Yeah. It's
What the fuck
it's
is a Vegemite?
spread that
you don't know
put
what
on
Vegemite?
toast.
It's a spread. Yeah,
Like malted yeast or something?
It's not
Sounds-
malt. It's a yeast extract.
Yeast
Um,
extract. That's what it is.
And it's really nice on toast, and it goes in like gravies and stews and things like that.
What would you compare it to? Like, if you had to say it tastes like this, because people that I know would
Stale
ask
beer.
them, like what?
Stale beer.
Stale beer, fermented like over.
It's I think it was made from like leftover beer vats. I think originally.
Oh, really?
Just
that
like
could be a myth.
scraped out the vat and we're like, yeah, let's eat this.
It was certainly a depression food because it's got lots of vitamin B, and so they marketed it as how to get your vitamins, and you just put it on bread or whatever. And it started in the 1920s. So it's the equivalent of like Marmite in England, and but you can't spread it thickly because it's a really strong taste. So you just put it with some butter, and it's great on hot buttered toast because
So
it
you
melts
gotta
in.
basically
And,
put another flavor in there because like it's a little harsh.
yeah, it's quite strong.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. It's
Um,
very strong.
Yeah.
So it's like That's like we order avocado toast. You guys order beer toast, basically.
Vegemite
Americans
toast. Can you
who
put an
try
egg on it?
Vegemite often make the mistake of spreading it thick like peanut butter. Don't do that.
Mm.
You hear that, everyone? Don't spread your Vegemite too thick.
No.
Phillipa, I'm looking on Amazon right now, and there's
Don't do it.
something called Shapes. It's a Vegemite cheese. Is that any good?
Oh, they're biscuits, right? Crackers.
Yes.
Well, yeah. So we call biscuits like what you crackers
Cookies.
or sweet. What you call cookies?
Oh,
It's more of a cracker.
That's a cracker.
Yeah.
Biscuits are crackers. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
is that biscuits for
Is
Yeah,
it
but
any
what-
good?
What you call biscuits, we call scones.
Ah, yes. Scones. Yes. 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 Johnny's looking to order something. That's why he's like asking. Should
I
he
mean,
order it?
I
You might
don't
just-
want to. I don't want to get a whole jar.
just
get
go
a
to
whole
World
jar.
Market. You don't have to order from Amazon.
That's right.
Just
Go to World Market. They got Vegemite.
It's going to be the
They
same
do?
price.
I have
Super
Vegemite
cheap.
shapes. I'm pretty fond of them.
Okay.
Veg. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's an Australian thing. People don't know. I mean, that is their thing. Vegemite.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. See, Vegemite. So everybody should try it.
It's look, it's salty and it's Americans say it tastes like beer. I don't drink beer, so I don't know, but I do like Vegemite.
Johnny will let us know. He drinks a lot of beer. So
True story.
If you're
What
gonna
is
try
it?
something, try a Tim Tam
Tim
What the
Tam.
fuck is a Tim Tam?
Tim
I like
Tam.
the
chocolate
name.
biscuit with
Yee,
chocolate
they're
cream in the middle and
delicious.
chocolate coating.
Tim Tam.
Tim
And
Tam.
if you have a Tim Tam slam, you bite the end off each end, and then you start coffee or hot chocolate through it quickly before it dissolves.
I like the name of it, like Tim Tam Slam. I mean,
So basically, what you're doing now is anything you say next, he's gonna buy it on Amazon. That's his instinct. So if you just
Tim
keep
Tams
going,
are sold in some stores.
They
in
are.
The
No, they
US
have 'em
because
here.
Some people
Yeah.
who I do gaming with online
they got
do
Tim Tams here.
buy
Yeah.
them.
Jemmy Dolgers. Do you have Jemmy Dolgers?
there
You know
I
what,
go.
Laura? Say it again as you're Russian, Laura. Okay, I want you to. I basically asked
Oh,
the
that's
clerk.
hard because I have my
ask-
Irish accent to say Jemmy Dolgers. That's
ask
how
the-
I get my Irish accent is by saying Jemmy Dolgers.
No,
It
no.
gets me kind of
Your gas,
Irish.
Laura, your gas. So funny.
Now remember, you're gonna ask the clerk which aisle is the demi dolgers on.
Jemmy Dolgers. Okay, I'm just avoiding it now. Okay.
Yep. Come on.
Excuse me. Jemmy Dolgers. Do you have Jemmy Dolgers? What
Okay,
aisle?
I mean,
that was
Johnny.
bad. That wasn't
Johnny,
good.
no,
That was
Johnny.
Let Johnny
Cash
tell
app.
us.
Yeah, cash out. Yeah, Johnny, say it in the
bad. See,
Philippines.
he was like,
No,
not
I
doing
mean, I didn't go from 6 to midnight, but I mean, it was in the neighborhood.
You sick bastard, yeah.
Sorry.
All right. That's our show, everyone. Thanks for tuning in, Nerds Talking the Podcast. And as we go around the horn for Laura.
goodbye.
Oh, there it is.
Way-oh,
There it is.
There it is.
Oh my.
Well, Johnny, cash app for sure. Cash app for sure. Wow, you hit him hard with that one. For Carlos.
Bye-bye.
For Johnny.
I need a smoke.
Oh, you are the worst, Johnny. You are the worst. For Philippa.
Thanks for having me. You can listen to Podculture Oz on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, or you can stream it on our website, which is podcultureoz.com. And it's been great to have you guys. And I'm still, if I can ever get my co-host back in the same room as me, want to do like a collab with you guys. We just have to pick a topic. Maybe we can bitch about Marvel again.
Oh, yeah. No, we love to talk about all that Marvel crap all the time.
Yeah.
So
In fact, when we had our superhero episode out, you had a comic friend of yours on. I can't remember his name.
Oh, yes. Elliot Fernandez.
Elliot.
I think that was the
and
one.
that was
yes.
like same week as we released it else. I'm like, oh, this is like a kindred spirits, meaning of the mind. Let's all just bitch about superheroes. So that was
Oh,
fun.
yes. That's the best. Plus, the newest stuff kind of sucks. So there you go. That's our show, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to Nerds Talking the Podcast. We'll catch you next time. See you later.